forever.
And they really add that wow factor. So a lot of the pieces you'll see out in like a TJ Maxx or a Home Goods are all very neutral tones or like farmhouse look. A lot of our pieces do have that pop of color. So whether it's a contrasting dark walnut with maple and maybe a stripe or two of red heart, you know, for Valentine's Day. Those are the types of things that we really like to think through that make our product stand out compared to something that you would find at one of those bigger box stores.
Nice. What's the most unusual request you've gotten?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Right? I think the last closet.
What last closet?
That last closet. So we did a built-in closet organization system for a client of ours who's now ordered another piece with us since. And they have an older style house. So the room that this was in was upstairs with a slanted roof in the space that we were working in. And they wanted to eliminate a piece of furniture in their bedroom. And we're like, yeah, that's got our name all over it. Absolutely, we're going to figure this out. And after a couple months of R&D and some really heavy duty hardware, we found a way to do it. I say we, my husband found a way to do it, and I was able to help in the design. But he was able to build something that was, you would see like a regular long piece of furniture, like a bureau. But when you pull out, there were two drawers. And when you pull out one drawer, the drawers that were set within it went sideways over one another. And that's how we were able to utilize the most space in the actual closet itself. We had a countertop that was on top of it as well. But I think that was probably the most interesting.
It was definitely complex with the hardware.
Yeah.
Because you needed to be able to access everything that was like 4 or 5 feet to the right and to the left without moving, because there wasn't any room to move in there. Yeah.
So yeah, the design, the build out, and the install, I think those for me have definitely been the most memorable to date.
Wow, talk about the math and all that stuff that had to be done to put that together.
Yeah, it was almost like trying to put a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's our specialty. Like, people come to us with that problem. They say square peg, round hole, and we almost always have come up with a solution for them in some way, shape, or form, whether it gives them more storage or it gives them, you know, the aesthetic that they're looking for. We've kind of become those people. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So Eric, how did you get involved with woodworking in the first place?
I always liked building things. It wasn't at the time, it wasn't specifically woodworking. It was just building things. I worked in hospitality, in the golf industry and the restaurant industry for up until my late 20s. And I needed a change. I was ready for a change. And I was living in Florida at the time. And I was just so done with working in this restaurant that I was working in that I just was like, I need to change. I need to get out of this. I need to be doing something a little more gratifying. So woodworking just kind of came in my head. I don't know why. I used to build stuff when I was a kid all the time. But I got it in my mind that that's what I wanted to do. And like I said, I was living in Florida at the time. I moved back up here. I was registered to go to a woodworking school. And like 2 months before that, I happened to land a job as an apprentice at a local company. And I spent about 4 or 5 years there. And they taught me a lot of what I know. And at that point, it was time when we wanted to go off on our own.
That's wonderful. And you've taught Kara everything you know?
Oh man.
I've taught her some of it.
I can tell you, I can make 400 cutting boards almost on my own. There's
true.
Like 2 steps or 3 steps that I do need his help with the bandsaw and a couple other things. But other than that,
yeah.
I came into this knowing nothing.
She does good.
Pretty good.
Well,
400 cutting boards, I'd be going to Amazon.
The business would not be alive if it wasn't for her.
And vice versa.
Well, I think the most important lesson people need to learn about woodworking is keep your hand away from the blade.
Always.
Yeah, you kind of need your fingers a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had said you originally wanted to do this so that you had something in common to talk about. How has that worked out for you? I mean, a lot of couples go into business and they go, all right, you know what? Now we're spending 24/7 together. We need a little me time. How have you guys coped with that?
We've taken some me time.
Yeah.
We yeah, I mean, we were for a long time, we were like in here side by side 24 hours a day, all the time. And recently, you know, Kara's done a little bit more. She's trying to do more networking, more expansion for the business and everything like that. So where it stands right now, it's almost like a regular job. I'm doing my thing during the day, she's doing her thing during the day, and then we go home at night. And it's been good. So it's really, we had a couple months where it was like, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, the nights until 2, 3 in the morning, you take a little power nap on the wood shop floor, and then you just kind of rally and keep going on. But with the new year, we really made a resolution to one another. We decided we're not going to try to lose weight. We're not going to try to eat better. We've passed that. And what we want was something more for ourselves, because we work so hard and we love what we do and we love spending time together, but we also love adventure. Like, that's really important for us as a couple. And so we decided that every quarter, this is very business, every quarter that we would plan an adventure together. And whether that was a long weekend or a week's vacation, whatever that was that we felt we could do, considering what was going on with the business at the time, that we would do that for ourselves. It gave us something to work towards. And so next week, we're actually going away for 2 days to Vegas, which is our first 2022 adventure that we're going to take together. And just 2 nights, but yeah. I think it gives us both just that light at the end of the tunnel, because we work really hard. We talk a lot of business, we talk a lot of growth planning, but it gives us some time to kind of be out of the shop and just enjoy each other's company that way.
Yeah, we don't really get too many weekends, so
yeah.
we're making count when we do.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful to hear, because obviously, if you're just doing it, even though you're happy with each other all the time and so on and so forth, to, put money in the bank account and so on, without enjoying yourselves. I mean, obviously, you're dealing with 2 people who talk about whatever you're doing has got to come from here. And, perspective, you got to put things in perspective. I mean, what you're doing with the business will provide you with the resources to do whatever else you want to do. And at the top of the list has got to be each other. So it's so great that you are actually putting that in your calendar, looking forward to doing that. Isn't it cool to be looking forward to even just a long weekend away?
It's amazing.
Time. And so that's it's wonderful. I mean, you folks who are watching this, husband-wife businesses and whatever, these folks are good folks to model, because they're not fake smiling here. They're wonderful people. They're doing it in life, which is great.
And it really is so important that you do put time aside for that. As entrepreneurs, people get caught up in this has to be done for the work, this has to be done for the work. But if you don't reward yourself along the way and take a little time away from the business, all that leads to is burnout. And it's so important to avoid that.
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
Yeah. And we talked to a lot of our friends who are small business owners in the communities and the different groups that we're a part of, and the burnout is real. Everybody is on that hustle and grind 24/7. And I think for me, at least, it has been so invaluable to be connected with so many different types of business owners who are doing all different things, because it gives you that perspective that, one, you're not alone. You are not the only one who is feeling that exhaustion, that stress, that burnout, that celebration. With the good, there's the bad, but then those people are there for you when you're also celebrating all the good things. Like, say, someone had the best sales month they've ever had, or they landed a client they never thought they would ever get in their whole career. I mean, those are the things that you want to be there and just like celebrate and live in those moments with somebody, because then you're also with them 3 weeks later when they're so stressed out that, maybe their business isn't going to make it, but then you powerhouse and you think through some ideas of, bringing life back into whatever's going on, and you bring that positivity back too. So it's really just one big family.
Yeah. And it's hard. I personally, I find myself falling into a lot, and I try to get better at it, to make sure that you appreciate the good things that are happening and not just all the things that still need to get done. Because the things that still need to get done never go away. So
That's very true.
take a little bit of time in order to realize what it is that you've accomplished and appreciate it.
So you've actually had quite a bit of success fairly quickly. And a lot of small businesses fail to plan for what happens when everything goes well. What lessons have you guys learned from your rapid success?
Help is invaluable.
Yeah, there comes a time when you need to, but the collective you just needs to be okay with letting go of certain tasks, right? So we try to do everything we possibly can as a small business to save the money, to be more productive, but there comes a time when it's time to wave the white flag and start to delegate. And so we have started to do that with accounting. We have started to do it with photography. So we've hired a local photographer here in Bristol who's now going to do all of our images for our products as well as our installs. That's something that we just felt like it was time to level up. As we're growing, we shouldn't be taking pictures on our iPhone or our Android and uploading that into Canva and hoping that that's, on brand for us. What else? I would say we've learned a lot about marketing. Different ways that do and don't work for our small business, which is very niche. So we learned that online marketing is not great in the sense of paid marketing. For us, it's really the power of the referral and word of mouth. People love to see what we're working on in the shop at any given time. So I like to provide that to them. Somebody doesn't really like to be served an ad where they see a custom cornhole set or a home, a gift for somebody's home. They want to, again, shop our website, talk with us, get that referral from somebody. So I think that was a big lesson that we learned also, because we thought that was needed as we were scaling, and we learned within probably like 5 or 6 months that just wasn't a necessary thing for us at this point. So I think that was one of our big ones.
Yeah.
I think it's great that you're putting together, a retail store and you bring people into the shop, because what you do is really an experience. It's not just seeing the wood. The wood has a smell. It has it has the feel, and you can't get that in a picture online.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so excited to get our store open, and that'll be we're aiming for April of 2022 that we'll have our retail space open. We do have other makers in our gift shop. So that's the one thing that I like to highlight. So we are calling our space the Dusty Dude Woodworks showroom and gift shop. So not only will we highlight our own pieces, but we do have 12 other makers that will be there as well. And they represent all sorts of different types of home goods and lifestyle products. And 10 of them are from Connecticut. One of them is from Chicago, and the last is from Waco, Texas. So we'll be working with all of these awesome makers and spreading the word about their business in the Bristol community also.
Nice.
No, it's just another way of networking too. I mean, it's all about the people. Obviously, internet, best price, you might get something here and there, but if you get people walking in your place to see that, they're going away talking about you. And now they know you. You all of a sudden have expanded your sales force just by getting people in the door. And obviously the people that you're partnering with to do this, it's just, it's the way to go. So
thanks. Yeah, I'm excited about it. And I feel like, I want to give back to everybody who's been helpful in our success also. And so again, to support those businesses and grow their own networks also, I think is invaluable for them. They'll share each other's content. They're really going to become like a family of makers, and we're super excited to have them all on our team and part of our family too.
Great. Well, we are just about out of time. So if our listeners want to get some more information or possibly order some custom woodworking, how can they get a hold of you?
So you guys can check out our website, www.dustydudewoodworks.com. You can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, which are both handled at Dusty Dude Woodworks.
And Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway from this episode?
I love the way you have things put in perspective. I mean, obviously you got a life, you got a business, you got everything going on. The process that we just talked about, the most important thing is the last part of the process, which we did talk